Merry Christmas, Lockpicking Paul here, and what I've got is a Secret Santa cash box. So this was a present from my youngest daughter, and it was a Secret Santa thing, although it's not that secret now because I know who did it. But she got a cash box, and this cash box is full of other locks. And this is a vintage cash box. It's not your average cheap piece of pressed steel from the Far East with a nasty cam lock on it. I mean, it's not hard to pick this, but it's better than most. So I just thought we'd have a little quick pick, not with tools, because obviously if it was a cash box, there's plenty of tools in an office that you could open this with, and that's what I've decided to do. We'll use what you might traditionally find lying around. But first of all, quick walk around this thing. It's reasonably heavy steel. It's got a concealed hinge. You just can't get into that pin, so I can't use something like a pin punch to pop that out and get it open, which is a first nice sign that you might be dealing with something of a little better quality. The lock is a wafer lock, and as such it's not particularly hard to pick, but it needs to be picked more than once, and then when you get to the very end it's spring loaded, and if you were using a paper clip to tension this, it just wouldn't be strong enough. You wouldn't be able to throw the bolt finally to open the lock. So you've got to use something a little different. So what I am going to use is a paper clip to pick the wafers with, and this is just a regular paper clip which I've bent outwards and then bent back on itself. So what that effectively does is create a little spring here, and I can just use that to bounce the wafers up and down. It doesn't need to look like a key, as long as you can manipulate and rotate the actual pick. That will catch individual wafers and push them into the shear line. So that is a very effective method for rolling or rocking the wafers. And this pen, I needed something stronger as a tensioner, so I've decided to use the pocket clip. Just snapped it off and put a little bend on the end of it to act as a tensioner. That's a lot more rigid than your average paper clip, and it won't bend when we need to put a bit more force on it. So let's open this up. It rotates that way, but what we're going to do is put the paper clip in first of all. Just slip that in along the top. Put this in the bottom of the keyway and give it a little rock until we align those wafers. There we go, that's the first position. Open, and you hear as you get to the bottom, everything clicked, and that's the wafers dropping back into position again. So now I've got to swap hands because I'm tensioning this side. Put this back in, this time facing down. And it's a bit tight in there, so we'll try that again. Pop that in. Give it a little roll until it catches the wafers. There we go, that's gone. Yeah, everything's falling out the bottom. Right, hang on. Right, that's the second time. So we've now got to pick it a third time. Already it's doing better than your average modern cash box that you'd get on Amazon. Normally you only have to pick those things once. Give that a little roll and a rock. Third time. Can't quite get that in there. Come on. Hang on. Right, that's better. There we go. That's gone a third time. So this is where it gets a little bit interesting. As it gets to the bottom here, you think, it's got to be open by now, hasn't it? I've picked it 3 times. But if I lift the handle up, it doesn't open. You've got this spring. See that? Just at the end there. Like so. There you go. and it opens. Now I'll just show you the inside of this because it's kind of cool. You've got this mechanism here, and you can just see the latches. So if we can get to zoom in on one of those, yeah, there you go. As we turn the key, there's a whole slider mechanism in here, which is a lot more robust than the normal. Normally this is like a thin plate with a cam mechanism and a hook on it, and it just catches a hook on the inside. This is much more robust, so if you sort of jammed a screwdriver in this and tried to force it open, it would be much more difficult to open like that. So this is, you know, a really lovely vintage cash box full of actually some very cool locks, which over the next few weeks might make an appearance. This is a fantastic old Ruco, which is going to be quite a challenge. It's got some wicked bitting. Look at that. It looks like the first 2 pins are 0 cuts, but we'll have to see. I'm going to need a deep hook for that one. So yeah, a couple of interesting locks worth really having a dig into. But that was my Christmas morning. And by the way, I'm not sure what make this is, by the way. Let's see. Show you the key. Cool old key on this, but I'm not sure what that logo is. So if anyone knows, do let me know in the comments. That'd be really interesting. But that was my Christmas morning, messing around with locks. And daughter number 2, nice job. That was really a cool present to get. And obviously, I did have to pick it open to get into it on Christmas morning. So anyway, that was my part of my Christmas, and I hope you all had a wonderful time. And I'll see you soon. Enjoy your picking. Cheers.